Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on this special stream today. I know this is not our usual stream time, but it will be worth your time. I promise, because we have an amazing guest joining us. So I've been trying my best to hype it up wherever I could. So we have a lovely projector named Kip Winsett, who's going to come and introduce himself and say more because no one's better at introducing themselves than themselves, right? So here we are.
Hi, Moana. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited and honored
Oh,
that you would come on our show. Welcome.
thank you very much. Yeah, I don't do very many podcasts. I don't have time for them usually, but we have
This
a
is
mutual
very
connection
different. Yeah,
with Tressa.
Tressa's such a wonderful human. She
Yeah,
was
so
on our show.
yeah, she's great. Anyway, for those of you who might not know me, my name is Kip Winsett. I'm the founder of Human Design System Pro. I've been a licensed analyst since late 1999. It's a long time. At that time, very few people were into human design. I mean, very few people. I trained with Zeno, who was the only person at that time who was licensed in the United States by RA to teach human design and certify analysts.
Oh, that's wild.
Um, yeah, that was a great experience. After I finished that and got licensed, I happened I at that time, well, I still live very close to Shaitan Parkin,
Hmm.
who is, in case you don't know, really quite well known throughout the world, a brilliant man. And I studied with him for 3 years, face to face. So that was really nice. I got a really good because when I finished my my analyst training and I tried to do a reading, it was a disaster.
Oh
What?
no.
I was too much information. I mean,
Yep.
I just didn't. It took me a while to figure out how to organize it, put it together, and get into a
Mhm.
flow, and so on and so forth. And I did only recorded readings back then.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have Zoom. I'm so old. Zoom didn't exist. And actually,
One of
I don't. I
those,
don't.
yep.
I still do it that way. For it's either a written reading or a
Mhm.
recorded reading.
Okay.
So my background includes pretty much at age 18, I was first introduced to the I Ching.
Oh.
And just to set the stage, I was, by age 22, I was a hippie when LSD was legal. And it was a great time to grow up as a 4-6. So having the chaos of the third line for my first 30 years,
Mhm.
it was a blast. I mean, there was so much to bump into. So many bonds to be
Mhm.
made and broken, so many adventures. I mean, just an incredible time. And during that time, I studied Zen. I studied all kinds of weird things. I said, well,
Yeah.
Sufism, which is not all that weird, but the
Yep.
Book of Urantia, for example, and Zen macrobiotics and things they probably drifted away by now. Nonetheless, they all had a fair amount of good information. In my late 20s, I was fortunate enough to hook up with a man who he had started the College of Religious Studies at San Diego State University back then.
Mm.
And brilliant man. Religious Studies is my major because of him, excuse me, my minor, because he taught the I Ching and the Tarot,
Mhm.
as well as teaching Kierkegaard, metaphysical doctrine of the feminine,
Mhm.
just as a few examples. Brilliant man, really expanded my, what would you call it, my access to the I Ching in a
Mhm.
useful way. He gave me the questions to ask that are useful. I found out from that experience that
Mm.
ask a question. Ask a question in public, and everybody's got an answer. Everybody,
Oh, that's
really.
an
Don't you
interesting one.
notice
Yep.
that?
Yeah,
Everybody's got an
everyone
answer.
everyone has an answer for any question you ask. This is true.
Anything. Yeah. And so answers are a dime a dozen. Well, maybe even a penny a dozen. They're really cheap.
Yep.
Questions, a good question, the right
Mm.
kind of question can really make a huge difference in a person's life. That was my experience anyway. And he showed me how to use the I Ching, again, long before human design, to determine what my nature was, what my unified personality was, why I was born, why I wish to be reborn. Just 4 of those questions are related to Aristotle's way of studying things, above, below. I won't go into it in detail, but anyway, I have a very solid grounding in philosophy, religion,
Hmm.
all kinds of arcane things, but they all have their use. Your brain works at putting things together, but you got to put the little pebbles in before you can, and
Yes.
it makes a wall or a road or whatever it wants to make out of it. So the
Right.
more little things get turned on, the
Hmm.
bigger. I always thought of my brain as being this tapestry.
Yes. So we actually had a question come in from the audience. So
Okay.
the question is, do you have a question that you like to ask the most? And what question did you ask that has made the biggest impact on you?
Oh, from the I Ching. Okay. Yes, I did for 3 years. Well, just a quick little background. If you haven't
Yeah.
read the Bhagavad Gita, right action. There is a thing called right action. It actually exists. It's
Hmm.
not ruled by formulas or
Mm,
rules. It's in the moment, your capacity to recognize holistically the context in which you exist and do what's the whole of it is do the right thing at the right time in the right way toward the right end. That's
that
that's
needs
the
to be on a
principle.
t-shirt.
I like that. What a grand idea. See,
Right,
I'm
or a
not that
mug?
kind of person.
Just
Or
see it
anything.
every
I love
morning,
it. That
right?
wouldn't that be cool?
Okay,
Oh
that'll be a
yeah.
part of our merch line. Got it.
Okay. So anyway, I would get up every morning
Yes.
and I would sit down and I understand this. I was working as a systems analyst and computer programmer.
Hmm.
I went to work in a suit and tie.
Oh.
Everybody else at work went to work in a suit and tie.
Hmm.
And we all had little cubicles and we were all really smart. I mean, you have to be to do that kind of thing, logically smart.
Hmm.
And nobody was into what I was into. No one. I mean,
Oh,
I could not talk about this at all to anybody at work. I
yeah.
mean, they saw me as an odd, weird ball anyway. But I couldn't. I didn't want to exacerbate that. So
Hmm.
I would ask, and you have to be very respectful when you ask each a question, and you have to write it down. If you don't write it down, it
Oh,
doesn't actually have any existence.
that's
You have to
interesting.
give it form.
You
You
have to
have
give
to
it form.
bring that question into the world. So you write it down. Please inform me, which principle of right action should I follow today?
Mm.
Now, just think about that question for a moment. Sit with that. Which principle of right action should I follow today? The darkening of the light. Pretend you're insane.
Woo-wee! What a party.
Oh no! In the beginning, you don't. The first few times you do this, you don't remember. You go to work, you don't remember you asked the question, but you persevere, and
Mm.
eventually you remember. Oh, I asked that question. What was the answer? I don't know. I can't remember. And eventually you remember what the answer was. What the hell did the marrying maiden? Huh? What?
Mhm.
How do you?
How do
And
you
so
do the thing?
what I quit
Mhm.
trying to do it. I just
Ah.
started looking at the world through that lens.
Oh.
Trying to be in the now with that as a part of me in the now. Not trying to do anything, not trying to understand it, just, not really thinking about it so much as being aware of the fact that I had
Yeah.
it.
It changes the way you carry yourself and you even like move.
uh, there's
Oh,
all kinds of things.
that's all
It's
kinds of things. Oh my.
it's almost impossible really to change yourself substantially because
Mm.
first thing is, okay, what am I going to change into? What am I going to do to change? What's up? What do I want to be? All of those come from you. So anything you pick is not really a substantial change. It came from you. How
Mm.
about this? What if it's when you read the language of the I Ching, if you get the correct copy, the one by, God, I've said his name so many times now, I'm getting one of those little blurps. I'll think of it. Anyway, if you get that, it's preserved the structure of the ancient Chinese language and the way it talks.
Hmm.
So right away, you're at a disadvantage. We
Hmm.
don't think in terms of, oh, the image of the lake at the foot of the mountain. We
Yeah.
just, we don't. And there, the superior man goes forth. It does not further one to persevere. Cross the great water. Don't cross the great water. What is the great water? Who knows?
Yep.
But you see, this way, you're always out of, you're not coming at it from within your box. We all live in our own self narrative,
Of course. Hmm.
and we want to change the self narrative. And so we don't want our changes to be based on the self narrative that we already have, because then it's not a change. We're just adding to the story. I wanted to go in a new direction, significantly new,
Carve a
every
new
day.
path.
Yes, every day, every morning, a little over 3 years. And
Mm.
every night when I came home, to be fair, I would ask the question, please provide me with an estimate of the adequacy of my performance of right action as given today. Oh man, I'll tell you what, that book could nail you sometimes. Make you feel
Ooh.
like it. I, I was, when I was really new to it, for various reasons, when I thought I hadn't done well, I would punish myself pretty severely. I
Mm.
grew up in that. So for a month or so, if I get one of these readings that say, you did a really bad job, that's what it meant to me.
Mm.
I would bite myself, bite my arms, hit myself in the head. This is one of the behaviors I didn't want to have anymore. I didn't want to be that kind of,
No, of course
right?
not. So just to give context to the audience, right? So human
Uh-huh.
design is an amalgamation of many different systems. So one of them is the I Ching. So Kip is explaining his experiences with the I Ching. So if you have further questions, please throw them in the chat. I'm sure Kip would be
Yeah,
happy to
absolutely.
explain further. But speaking of questions, we have a human design related question for you, which
Okay.
is, what is your favorite part of your own personal design?
Yes, the 1020 channel.
Hmm.
Um,
And why?
I don't
I
know.
should say, and why? Why is that channel your favorite? What part of it makes you go,
I answered your question, lady. What do you want?
next?
So this channel, it does a lot of things. The primary benefit to me is that I always know the right behavior for me for survival.
Mm,
All of those, that's gate 10. It knows
mhm.
what to do. It knows what to say. And
I have that gate.
oh, do you? Okay.
I have that gate. One of the few gates I have in the G Center. I don't have much.
Do you have a defined G center?
No, I have
Oh,
an undefined.
okay. Well, on the other end, of course, is gate 20, the now. In the now, in the moment, I know how to keep my butt out of trouble.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
know. Hmm.
it saved me many times when I was young. I just said the right thing. I didn't get any punishment. Instead, I
Just,
got rewarded.
oh, Danny's going to be dying to hear all that because we were talking about some of these questions ahead of time. So the next question
Ah,
we have for you is,
uh-huh.
who is Kip now and how is he different from the Kip before human design?
Well, that you would think that would be an easy question to answer, but I've had so many lives that it's not. I had a life growing up for 3 years with my grandparents. It was a fabulous life. It was everything a little kid could want.
Hmm.
And then the World War II ended. My dad got out of the Navy. My parents came and got me, and my mom had some severe problems. And my life changed radically, dramatically. And I was stuck with her for 12 years, unfortunately, starting at age 7, I got sent back to be with my grandparents every summer. Nonetheless, it was so that was 2 lives already.
Oh yeah.
We moved to Mexico. My dad got divorced when I was in California when I was of an age to choose who I would live with, because otherwise I'd
Mhm.
have to go with my mom. So he waited. He
Mhm.
got remarried, and they went on a honeymoon to Mexico, and they were forced to take me.
Oh, you're the third wheel.
They had to take me though.
Oh, so where are you
So,
gonna leave poor Kip? Oh, I guess he's part of this honeymoon.
well, see, I got in trouble at school, and the principal said, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, my parents got just got my dad got remarried. They're going to go to Mexico for 6 months." He said, "Well, what about you?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. They're going to have me stay with somebody."
Oh
So the
yeah.
principal called my dad up and gave him all kinds of shit. They had to take me. That's what I mean. I got in trouble, but I had an amazing experience then. I learned to speak Spanish very easily. My girlfriend was a wonderful person. I went to an internationally recognized art school in San Miguel de Allende.
Mhm.
It was really great.
Mhm.
I came back and it was my last year of high school, and it was wonderful. I had a grand time. Then I was really at loose ends for several years until I started taking LSD. And
Oh,
for those of you who haven't taken it,
I have
I
not
know
taken it. Tell
I know
me.
a lot of people in human design take the psilocybin, the
Yes,
mushrooms,
the mushrooms. I was looking
that
into that.
that sort of thing. LSD is a horse of a different color. It's really powerful. It's
Mhm.
really powerful, and it just knocks you down off your feet sometimes, and you just lay there kind of God at
Yep.
the gorgeousness of everything. And so I had a whole life from about age 22. I want to say to maybe 26,
Mhm.
where I was a hippie,
Mhm.
full on hippie. I had a couple of friends and myself had a ballroom in San Diego. It was
Mhm.
huge. It had been a roller skating rink, and we got hold of it. And we started bringing all the San Francisco bands in on the weekends to do these live concerts where you could dance, acoustic ceilings, the sound just drove flat out. I mean, best light show on the West Coast. Well, they didn't have, well, it was the best light show in the country at that time.
Mhm.
Very creative guy. And that was a whole lifetime. This is that
Mhm.
4'6" guy, just wow, this is so cool. Dropping
Yeah.
acid, hanging out with the Grateful Dead, hanging out with Quicksilver Messenger Service guys. So they all came down. We went right on the coast of San Diego. They all came down, spent a couple days, and
Mhm.
I got to jam with the rhythm guitarist for what was that, Velvet Underground. Uh,
Yeah, everyone's awing over your adventures in the chat. And one
it
one
wasn't.
one
Go
of the
ahead.
greatest comments we've seen right here is my eyes got real big. I'm not good at the idea of big drugs. I like my little drugs.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, back then we didn't really have psilocybin or mushrooms. We had peyote.
Mm,
Uh, Part of this trip, when I was the summer I turned 25, I was living in Williams, Arizona, the gateway to the Grand Canyon, and I was going to the Native American church
mhm.
from not quite on the Navajo Indian reservation. It was being held by a Cherokee Indian, and so he
Right.
would let white people go.
Mhm.
And we'd go down there, and the ceremony starts at sundown and it goes until sunup. And that whole time, you're chewing peyote buttons and you're drinking a peyote tea, and these Indians, God, they had such a profound effect on me. I've never seen anybody in church live out.
Mhm.
This was the whole Christian thing. They prayed, well, not Christian, but they prayed. They started with the commander in chief, the president. They prayed for him. They prayed for the generals. They prayed for the non-commissioned officers. They prayed for everybody they could think of, all the way down. They prayed for people in their community, people who were
Mhm.
sick, who needed help. The meeting would be dedicated to one person in particular, so that all the energy
Yes.
would flow towards that person
Mhm.
who was never there because they were, having real difficult times. I'd never had any experience. I was raised without religion, except when I
Oh.
chose to go to church, and I went to a lot of them just
Mhm.
for something to do.
Let me just try this one on for size.
Yeah, well, just something to do on a Sunday.
Right.
My parents didn't go. It's something I did by myself. So yay for me. I got away from them and just did whatever I wanted to do. That was one thing about
Mhm.
my mom. She gave me an incredible amount of freedom to do and go.
Freedom. Yes.
She
Mhm.
gave me a lot of that. But anyway, so I just, that's another life. Then
Right.
I had this transition period where I started using the chain every morning.
Right.
I just, I was married to someone else back then, and we came back from Arizona to La Jolla,
Mhm.
and I was not any big shakes as a provider. I
Mm.
mean, we had a place to live, we had food, and we were hippies, so it was
Right.
okay. She wanted to have a kid, but oh
Mm.
my gosh, this is going to be a different thing.
Mhm.
And so we did, and shortly after that, we moved to the Big Island of Hawaii.
Oh, I love the Big Island. I lived in Hawaii for a period of time, but I was on Oahu.
Oh yeah, I lived on Oahu later too.
Yeah.
So I had this whole life there on the Kona side that was incredible.
Oh, please tell me you went snorkeling.
Of course I did. Of
Yeah.
course I did
Ah,
everything.
some of the best snorkeling in the
Yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah. Yes, I
It's
agree.
wild. It's
Captain
like
Cook at
you're
the bay.
plopped into an aquarium. It's
Yes, yeah, it
Hawaii's
is
my happy
shocking.
place. Hawaii and South Korea. Those are
Oh, I
my
haven't
two.
been to South Korea, but I would love to go.
Oh, it's life
So anyway,
changing.
I've had a lot of lives. When I married my current wife, by then I had my shit together. I was a computer programmer. I was making good money, had a nice house in La Jolla. We could do stuff. And she wanted to move
Mm-hmm.
because I'd had all these adventures and she had not done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to decide where we're going to move to.
Mm-hmm.
She had lived in Hawaii for a few months before. And so we wanted someplace warm. Neither one of us likes cold.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to move to Oahu.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I got a job as a computer programmer there. And we had to drive over the Poly every day.
Oh yeah.
And we lived just a
Did you see the
block from the
poly
beach.
ghosts? Did you take pork
No,
in your car? For
no.
anyone who's like, what is Vana talking about? So there is a legend. So the Pali is a highway that you have to take
Mhm.
to get from one end of the island to the other. And legend has it that the goddess Pele is haunting it, and you should never bring pork into your car. And if you do, you'll notice a woman in white trying to hitchhike with you. And if you don't pick her up, like bad things happen, so you should always pick her up. So that's what I was talking about.
You just reminded me of something that I haven't thought of in years.
Oh,
My second wife and I were living on the Big Island. We lived on the Hilo side, and we lived in this place called House of Pigs. That's what I meant. A
oh
very
yeah,
ancient site. It was mostly jungle. I could walk around in the jungle there. I'd find old Hawaiian villages. You could tell from
yes.
the big rock foundations that
Mhm.
they had for, where they would keep the pigs and build the war canoes and store them
Yes.
and stuff like that out in the jungle. Fabulous time. Anyway, I was driving along one day and I saw this old woman hitchhiking.
Oh.
I was going home. Stopped and picked her up, and I said,
Mhm.
Where are you going?" She said, "Oh, I'm going home." I said, "Well, where do you live?" So I live up in Volcano. Well, I live down in
Oh, that's giving
Hawaii.
me chills. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So I
Did
didn't
you
live
give
anywhere near
Pele
there.
a ride?
You
That's
betcha I
crazy.
did. I gave her a ride and I gave her some money. Never saw that lady again.
Oh, that's crazy. I am actually getting chills. That's
I am too.
wild.
Because I had never thought of it that way until you told me about that.
Ah,
And
I forgot that's another another form she can appear in. If she's not like a young lady in white, she can also appear as an old lady.
isn't that outrageous?
Oh, that's
Wow.
absolutely wild. Oh, someone just mentioned a really poignant comment. Do the correct thing then.
Yes, it was correct for me to stop. It was not a thinking thing. It was just a done thing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And
for the sake of not boring poor Danny and Moni to tears, waiting to get
okay,
their time
yeah,
with you,
sure.
I am going to pop away and I'm going to give them the honor of having more fun discussion time with you. So I'm going
Okay.
to introduce our lovely co-host, Danny, the
Hey,
professor.
Hey, Dan, how
everyone.
you doing? Do you like Danny or Dan?
Danny's good. Danny's good. I grew up
Okay.
with that. Yep.
And
Okay.
then also our other lovely co-host, Moni.
Hello,
You guys are
hello.
all in the you're all in the same bar, eh?
Yes, but to make things less complicated, I will pop
Okay.
off
Yeah,
in
Moana made our backgrounds. They're awesome.
yeah,
Steampunk, right?
Oh,
where
oh
our
yeah.
aesthetic is
Before our
steampunk.
time,
So
Kip.
before, you mean after your time, not
After our
before.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
library is where
Whatever.
Danny's sitting. I'm sitting in a workshop, and Moni is
I think I'm
supposed
visiting
to
your
be.
workshop.
You're visiting my workshop. She
I think
usually is
so.
inside an airplane. That's where she's
I'm
supposed to
I'm
be.
looking. You
Yeah,
and
I found my
Moni have,
airplane.
well, there you go. Different background now. And Danny has the same round window behind his head that you have over your right shoulder.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't
Oh,
even
but I
plan
see.
it that
I
way.
see. He's in a bar. I mean, in the library.
In the bar.
Yep.
I should have made it a bar.
Yep.
Bar library.
This is my favorite look, Kip. It's just a nice, grand, round, arching library filled with books.
And booze.
Yep.
Oh, that's
And booze, a little
absolutely.
bit of booze. I'm a lightway,
Yeah.
so I really
Yeah.
can't
I
handle
Oh,
don't.
it.
we have
More than I
I
could
don't
drink
drink
you
at
under
all.
the table, I
a
bet.
great
You know?
comment. We should have coordinated costumes too. Lamb, you should check out our intro. Danny's in the professor outfit. I'm the crazy architect, and Moni is our flight navigator. So we've done
Oh
that.
wow. I
So
don't
I
even know
will
what
bid you adieu until time for bingo.
Okay.
So enjoy your time.
Au
Much
revoir.
love, Moana. Thank you, hon. Kip, it's too late, but I sent to your Instagram just a picture of my chart, just for ha-has. But it's so wonderful to be here. Moni, you're all brimming. I see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I get to talk with human design with people who know more than me. So frequently, I'm the one who's introducing people to human design. So when I get to meet people who know more, I'm just like, oh, I want to learn all the things.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
absolutely. Kip, I was listening to your story about I grew up at a time, I'm younger than you, obviously, but I grew up at a time when I had my LSD experiences I was like 15 and 16 and 17, and I wouldn't trade
Wow.
them for anything. I wouldn't trade it
Yeah.
for anything.
Nope.
You were explaining it, and I was like, open your mind. I even did the Bufo alvarius, the toad medicine from the Sonoma Desert once. You only need to do that once, by the way, Kip. But if you ever did it, it's about 30 minutes of like, oh my God. And we
Oh,
need to
30
disrupt.
minutes. I
Yeah,
can
yeah. Oh, it
handle
comes and
30
goes.
minutes.
No,
Oh,
yeah. The LSD would go on for like 8 hours or 10 hours.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this is 30 minutes in and out. So it's the most amazing deconstruction, reconstruction process. It's
Oh,
human
maybe
design
I'll try
came on.
that. Nah.
Yeah, it came when human design came onto the plane for me. I just remember the first thing I did, and I love the question, by the way. The first thing I did was I, I denied it. I called BS. I said, we don't have this tech yet. Next thing you're going to tell me is planes can take right angle turns in midair, you know. And then Meg Starkweather, who you may have run into her. She studied with
No.
Ra for a little while, projector, emotional, cross of the Sphinx, and she would not let me go. She spotted me, started talking to me, and then boom, here I am. 15, 12
Wow.
15 years later, she wouldn't let me go, and I would drain her. I'm a manifesting
Mm.
generator. I have 10, 20 as well, and it was just I would drain her, and then one day she beat me over the head. She read my children, and my jaw hit the floor, and I was a believer ever since. She just wouldn't stop. I owe her all of it. She
Wow.
crazy crazy Meg wouldn't stop. I'm like, don't you run out of energy? That's
Yeah.
what I say now, but back then I didn't know to ask that.
And it's so
Aren't those
beautiful.
people amazing?
Yep.
It's so
They're just
beautiful. It's like
amazing.
it's so
What?
beautiful how specific like human design can get, like how detailed, how precise, that anybody who is a skeptic, rightfully so, like be skeptical. There's lots of crazy things out there. It's so on point and so pure and also so unattached. You can go along with this or not, but you feel that realness, you feel that truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
go
Dan.
ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead, Kip.
I was just going to say that there is this thing of I'm a human design nerd,
Me too, yeah.
but you don't have to be a human design nerd to reap the benefits and the values. In fact, in some ways, it's better if you're not. Us nerds, we tend to start thinking too much. And really, that just gets in the way of it all. I've just the last few years, I've really been able to, really let go of a lot of the thinking about it and just let it unfold
Yeah.
and happen, and it's so, but I think it takes a long time to build up the trust to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to surrender, to anything. And, but once you do, whew,
Everything changes.
yes, it does. It does.
Yep.
It's an amazing thing. Raw always cracked me up because he was always saying, "Don't think, don't think." Then that's all
Right.
he did was think out loud.
Right.
but he addressed that in one of the lectures I heard. He said, most of what I say, it's just interesting.
Ah, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, well, it is. It's true. You don't really need it. If the basic premise is that you're wired this way.
Yep.
If you're wired this way, then you just give in and do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know it, right? You just don't. The less you know about it, as long as you can surrender and not let your mind take over. I'm sure that
It's a truism. It's a truism. Another question that got asked you, Kip, from before. I was loving it. Was your a question, favorite question to ask? And I think the person who asked that question, or the question that asked it, was as it relates to inner reading. And so, because that's where I went, and I just remembered my answer to that question was, I like to ask, is that true? Is that because I'll be in a, I think you're right-minded too, as I recall. I forget.
I'm right head.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
right head, left mind, right head.
Okay. And so here I am stuck in my rightness and I'm flowing out. I don't know what I'm saying because it's coming out in the moment. And then suddenly I'll realize I just said something really big and it might be upsetting. And I ask the person, is that true? Is that true? Yeah, no, of course you don't like that. This is that. You hate this. Your favorite day is when you do that. And when your husband does this, that's when you get the most pissed. And then suddenly it's like, oh, is that true? Hold on. By the way, is that true? Yeah. My favorite question.
That's a good one. Let me think. I ask questions in sessions, but not in readings because I don't do them live.
Okay, yeah, I do them live, yeah.
Yeah, I think I forget what I charge now. $250, $300 for a reading, but it's 3 hours recorded.
Yep.
And to put in that much time, I gotta write. I gotta get in and because I can't remember all this stuff. That's not the kind of person I am anymore. I used to, but not now.
Right.
And so they get more information if I do it that way. I have the 1762 channel, which it's hard to decide between 1762 and the 2010 because I love all three of my channels. What can I say? They're beautiful. They're wonderful. I am just a hound for details and organizing those details.
I suck at it.
Oh no, I'm so good at it.
I know you are. Yeah, it's your thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of many beautiful things, all kinds of beautiful things. So that's how I interact with the world, so to speak.
I don't even know how to write that much. I can, but I'm dying to get on the phone with them and just start. I don't even prepare before a reading at this point, except to look at their chart and maybe check their sun earth a little bit. I'll check a few of their things, and then I'll 5 minutes or 8 minutes before, and then I'll start talking.
If I'm doing it, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mona.
Oh, I was going to say we have a question from our stream, from some of our commenters.
Oh yeah, we're going to go on forever. Yeah. What was that? What was the first question we missed? It was.
Well, let's do the audience question, and then we'll go into the other one. So, what's the third channel you have, Kip? Because you mentioned the 1020 and then the 6217, I believe you just said, and then you have one more.
Yes, I do. Anybody want to guess?
I'm not fair because I think I remember it from looking at his chart, so I can't.
Yeah, right. Moni, you want to take a crack at it?
I don't know. I'm gonna start overthinking, and it'll take too long for me to try to decipher through it.
Don't say the first thing that comes to mind, Moni, or just say something that comes to mind. Anything.
Yeah,
I mean, it would
31-7.
have to be something that's not gonna light up the emotions or the sacral or the spleen.
Good
So
girl.
then
Good.
then it would have to be another head, ajna, or throat gate would be my guess, or another, identity to the throat.
Getting more.
31-7.
See, there you go. So the 31-7, so another,
Right.
identity to the throat. That makes sense.
If you read Gate 31, the Gate of Influence, if you read that in the I Ching, it's really beautiful. It
Talk about
talks
it, Kip. Yeah.
about, it's really cool. Back in, this is a very old book, thousands of years old. It's been around for a long time. It predated Confucius by quite a long time. But at that time, men were it. They were, the top dog in every possible way. Women didn't get much, unless they were born into a royal family, and even then, they didn't. It was very constricted. But
Yeah.
Gate 31 talks about how a man should approach a woman if he wants to be married. And he said, and it says, put yourself below her. Literally, she is now ahead of you. She's above you. You're down below. Maybe you can influence her, but and if you do that, if you say, hey, look, here's how much I love and trust you, I don't have to be your ruler. I'm okay, in a relationship where you have equal privileges that way. I mean, this is modern talk for the way they say it.
Right.
And I thought, gosh, that's,
It's very romantic, frankly.
well, yes, it is. It really is. It goes back to the medieval knights who wore their lady's scarf around their wrist when they
Yeah.
jousted, and all kinds of things. And I started reading the King Arthur books when I was about 8, so I loved. I've always been a romantic. I really,
Yeah.
I'm huge that way. My wife, the way I met her was very romantic as well. But let's not go there. Moni, you're being too quiet. So let me
I have a
ask you a question.
Yeah, Moni, talk some more.
I have a completely open throat. I need somebody else to come at me with stuff.
Well, we're inviting you, Moni,
Well,
because we love you
thank
so much.
you. I just don't want to
Yep.
interrupt when you're in the middle of it. But you had a question for me?
Yes. How long have you been in human design?
I am in my 6th year.
6 years?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what's your biggest change, would you say,
Oh, I mean
over that
everything.
6-year period?
I mean, just learning how to like understand myself. I'm an ego projector, so I have the 2551 and that's it. And trying to continually live like everyone else and failing miserably, but having the will to do some really amazing things, but not that consistent energy. So I would just live completely incorrectly until everything broke down during my Saturn return, and then we had to pick all the Humpty Dumpty pieces back together again. So now I'm doing great, but just understanding that there's nothing ultimately wrong with me, that there's a way that my being can function that is correct for me, and I can have
Mhm.
amazing things happen, and just learning how to rest. I just need to rest between doing anything. I lay down, I do something, I lay down, I do something. And like I could really work that with my will and my identity.
I have something, Moni. I think we spoke about this, but since your life force channel is 2551, Kip and I both have a 25. So when that's your only channel, I'm still, it's still an identity. It's still an identity authority. But the more I look at it, I've been willing to break it up into 2 separate authorities combined into one, an ego identity authority. Because and I'd love to get your input on that, Kip. It's a fanciful little detail that I know Rod dealt with, and he said 2 separate things about it over the course of the years. One set of classes, he said one thing, and then I remember I got his classes for like 8 years later in the next country, and he said a little different. And I was like, so I've chosen to synthesize my own. You only have 51, 25. Is that an identity or an ego authority?
Is
I
that for
feel like
me or for Kip?
I guess it's for all of us. I guess we need the Jeopardy TikTok sound going now.
I'd actually like to jump on that because
Yeah.
I have, of course, having the vessel of love as my cross, I have, like you said, I have gate 25. 51, if you read in the I Ching, that's the gate of shock. And mostly Ra talked about shocking people awake.
Yeah.
But really, in the I Ching, what that gate talks about is the capacity to be steady and calm and carry a chalice full of wine across a high wall while there's battles raging around. In other words, it's the
Yeah.
capacity to survive shock, no matter how strong it is.
Yep.
Now, in that channel, you've got 51. It talks about taking a leap of faith, jumping into gate 25. And innocence, if you don't land in innocence, forget
You
it.
don't land.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need the
So to me,
innocence. Yeah.
this is about identity more than it is. But you have to have the ego energy
Right.
to do something from your point of innocence. You know, people.
Uncontrived and natural behavior,
Right.
like a
Yeah.
child.
Right. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And if anybody wants to know who they are, go back every day and think about your childhood. Every
Yep.
day, just go
Yep.
back and start thinking until you see the patterns of how you behaved, how much trouble you got in, or whatever.
Right. 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 How much did you piss that person off? Right. Yeah. That's me sometimes. Oops.
Yeah. What I like about it is that there's only one manifesting center in human design. Only one.
Yep.
Oh, I've got this. I've got the emotion center and all the energy and all this power and everything. It's not hooked up to the throat. It doesn't manifest. But what hooks directly into the throat with no
Ego.
impediment whatsoever? No, the G center.
Oh.
All three of those channels
Yep.
go directly into the throat. Well, actually, there's four of them. They go directly into the throat, which I take to mean, and I'm here to manifest myself.
Dude, that's a really interesting point because my 1220 is super right now, and I'm only safe when I don't think. And because now is an uncontrived right action. And
Yeah.
it brings me to everything. Every time I'm in a reading, I tell people there's two mathematical axioms. They're like maxims of law. Seeing it kills it. If you see the conditioning finally and experience that you just saw it, yeah, well, that tends to starts to kill it. You start to get back to you. But more importantly, the kid is always right. The kid is always right. Maybe you can't do what the kid says right now because you're in the middle of an adult life, but the kid is right. And so you get to this simple. Well, do you want to do it? Well, not really. Well, then that's true. You don't want to do it. That the kid is always right.
As an SPP, I've always done what I want.
Yep.
I manifest myself. I don't. When Chaitan gave me my first reading, and he said, "You don't really know how you make decisions." If somebody would say, "Why did you decide to do that?" Your answer is going to be something. Oh, I don't know. I just did. There's no thinking involved. If something comes up, I go, "Oh, I want to build a house." Never mind, I never built a house or anything for that matter in my life. I just go and do it. And I've thought about this and I've described it in so many different ways. My authority is right there beside the monopole. It doesn't matter what I choose, go right, go left. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Because, the monopole is driving it all. You can't get that close to it. So I think it's a very privileged thing to be an SPP in that sense. But I really...
What is this acronym you're saying? This acronym?
Self-projected projector.
A what?
Self-projected projector, SPP.
Okay.
Yes, myself is my authority.
Yep.
And so, how would I say to myself, don't manifest?
Well, you wouldn't
All
say
my
to yourself
life, people...
anything. The timing would have you manifesting.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
All my life, people were trying to tell me how to manifest.
Right.
And I got in a lot of trouble as a kid because I didn't listen to them. I just didn't. No. I feel very fortunate. Everybody, open discussion. White centers. What's your basic thing about white centers?
Moni, would you like to take that first? Because I'll just start talking, but why don't you go first, son?
Are we talking about white centers in general or mine specifically?
In general.
Yeah, white center.
Or yours.
I don't care.
And what is specifically the question about the white centers?
What's
my take on them?
Basic thing, yeah.
I mean, it's taking in the energy of the other and like amplifying it times double. And then the brain, like the mind feels that and won't necessarily understand what that is. And then the mind will come up with a story of like, how do I deal with this data ultimately, this like enhanced data from another person of this outward energy coming at me. And then the mind tries to come up with a story to make sense of it, except that's usually at the detriment to my actual body. So learning to take it in as data from other people, but not data that should be affecting my decisions.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Me, the white centers are magical, because I used to hate the emotion. I love the emotional center so much I kept marrying it. And I kept marrying my mom and dad is what I married. I married my mom and dad over and over a couple times. And then when I came to human design, my first few years were I couldn't stand the emotional center. When I say couldn't stand it, I just learned to be afraid of it because that thing would cut into me and I would get nervous. Kip, if you saw my chart, you'd understand. I'm under pressure. I'm this, I'm that. I'm going through a confusion process because I'm defined up there. And and then the emotions taught me, and then the open root taught me, and all this stuff taught me that's who I'm not. So I got to witness them amplify themselves and show me and teach me and school me on who I'm not. We're trying to get to the airplane and Antoinette with a defined route being driven, the marrying maiden, as you said before. And then we got to hurry. You go ahead. I don't want to, you have, and I'm like, don't worry, we're going to get there. We're not. You should have got, she's yelling at me. I'm like, hey, we'll make it. It's not my pressure. I'm always in the right place, I'm always in the right place at the right time. So she got so mad at me. And I had such a hard time saying it. And then the girlfriend I last broke up with, she was a 36, 35. And so, and I, obviously I was attracted to that and younger man. And at the very end, my right action was very simple. I was like, honey, I love you, but I love me more. And she didn't like that. I said, no, it's a lot more actually, but it's good. It's okay. But I do love me more. And right action and leaning into the emotional solar plex center has been so juicy for me. Oh my God, that wave is coming in. I love it for its teaching capacity, Kip. That's what I love.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
really good.
Okay. I'm kind of in that boat myself. I look on them as my allies. Um, I'm not a big fan of not self thinking
Right.
because look, evolution is not handing out crappy packages. You look at your chart, and that's one of many kinds of designs to have. And all those designs have been tested by evolution, most of them for millions of years. I think the most recent, something like 40,000 years. This is a lot of testing.
Yeah.
And every behavior that's in there is a possibility, has a value to survival and more than survival, to thriving as well.
Thriving, abundance.
All of
Yeah.
it. So to think that somehow the white centers are getting in the way, I'm willing to go on an emotional roller coaster once in a
Yep.
while.
Yep.
I'm willing to go on all kinds of things once in a
Yep.
while. I'm really
Yep.
picky about who I go with,
Sure.
because if they're not going to support me in that, I don't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean? I'll take risks in the natural world. Well, it doesn't count. I have a totally open spleen. I'll take any kind of crazy risk if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But if I'm with people, things get scary because they've got the defined ego, like, oh my God, I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I need people that aren't
Right.
afraid of that stuff.
Right.
And then it's so much fun. I'll run down the side of a mountain with somebody.
Right.
It's cool. I'd rather do it by myself, but it's no fear, no fear. I stoned an LSD meeting a rattlesnake 3 feet away. No fear.
44 is my only gate off the spleen. I have plenty of
Same.
fear, and it has kept me from breaking bones. Oh, we have another question down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. What aspects and parts of their designs have you noticed makes people want to learn more? That's an odd question. That's a tough one too.
Yeah, it
They
is.
sort of
It's so
yeah,
different.
that's so different. They all tend to. I find the head center gates going down to the ajna, any of the ajna gates tend to make people either want to learn or want to deny it.
People that have the first line profile in
Yeah,
particular,
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
you
go.
know,
with that.
and also the 4-6, because the 4 line is just the upper trigram, the bottom line of the upper trigram. It's investigating in a different arena is all.
Yep, yep.
The first line down, it's investigating at the foundational level. And I don't know if you know this, all those profiles substantially come from material that's in the Wilhelm Baines translation of the I Ching. There's a section in there that describes the lines, the first line. You have to understand what China was like and what court was like, because the I Ching was not used by the average person. It was just for the people, the rulers, more or less, and when you kind of get that, you understand why people project onto the fifth line or the second line. I mean, those are both. Second line is the ruler of the bottom trigram, and the fifth line is the ruler of the top trigram. When shit went wrong in China, who'd they go to? Somebody launches an attack. Who do you go to? You run to the emperor. You run to the
Right,
ruler. You
right.
know, all of this kind of behavior
Or
that
you
gets described.
draft the natural, or you draft the natural. That
Yeah,
was my
right.
book. I'm a 2-4, so I would get drafted.
Shaitan's a 2-4, I think.
Oh,
I think he is. He
yep.
got. I got too many stories. So,
You do,
uh,
Kip. You're loaded. It's such an honor to be here with you. I love this. This is
well,
great.
I've been around for a long time, and
Yep.
I've been always open to life. Whatever,
Mm.
whatever came my way. If it was not, well,
If it
I
was right
can't even
next to
think. Yeah, but it was right for me right then. I just went with it. I didn't, whatever. We'll just do this. I had a whole lot of amazing adventures from it. Not all of them were physically comfortable,
right.
but all of them grew me. It was like
Yeah, we're
fertilizer.
amazing. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
5-2. Here we go. We got a
Oh,
question.
that was a response to somebody in the comments. So the first part, let me show that one. She,
Mm.
she said those are great answers. Thanks. Even though it was kind of weird as a 5-2, it has been hugely eye-opening for her. And then I responded that 5-2 is very rare, so it must be fascinating with a conscious 5.
I don't think I've done a reading in the last several years for a 5-2. I can't remember doing that.
They're rare
It's
because they basically have to
yeah.
call themselves. If they don't call themselves, it just no one's going to break through. At least with me, if someone knocks on the window long enough, they'll break through some, likely a little bit. But the
But don't you get
5-2, you can't have it. They don't
don't you
let you.
get pissed off when they knock?
Yeah,
If
well,
you're busy doing your
every
own
single
natural
time,
flow.
it's like, dude, I'm sure I'm busy. That's my. I don't know. I'm sure I'm. I'm sure and then I see a face, and then I have to. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right,
Danny,
right.
can you
But
elaborate
then,
on that?
but then I don't mind it so much usually. Then I have
Yeah,
new fun, and so I'm aware
yeah.
that my second line, even though it says no, and it's a great nihilist in so many ways, if you pull it out, then it'll have some fun probably. What were you going to say, Moni?
I was gonna say, can you elaborate on that with the 5-2 compared to like, let's say the 2-5 and why like they'd have to call themselves up? That's really fascinating. I think people would love to hear that.
The 2-5 technically calls themselves, but that's because it's a lower tide trigram. They really don't know that they're doing it. You know what I mean? They're totally unaware. Second lines are unaware that they're self-absorbed in a process of being ready to do something naturally that's just so cool. They just don't know yet. And so they're very often filled with lots of stuff about like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then the mind takes over. 5-2 is aware because that fifth line's now out front. It's in the
Mm.
personality. And so they're already aware that people project on them. The second line isn't aware. They're a little bit maybe, but we're not really aware. We're just broadcasting, and other people get pulled in. And they're like, huh, you might do this natural thing. You might be good at this. And I was trying to offer advice. Fifth lines is different. They have to get a little paranoid. They have to have
Mhm.
a little bit of, they have to get practical about who they let project on them, because they become aware, whether they have words for it or not, that the other person coming in on them doesn't quite see them as they are. Mostly, not definitely, not
Mm-hmm.
totally. Not. This is granite written in stone. It's just tending to be this way, and so they learn to ask, hey, what does that person want from me? You know, and because yeah, and so because there's a hermit underneath, you know what I mean. The answer is, I don't care. I'm out. You know what I mean. I'm busy. Street lights came on. My mom called me. I gotta go. Whatever it is, and so therefore they call themselves more than anything else. That's how I would put that. That's sort of what came. Does that sound true? Here's my question. Does that sound true? To the person who asked it? Does that sound? Yeah.
Well, we just had a 5-2 on there who answered asked the question. Ask, what does she think?
Yeah. What does she
Whoever
think?
that was.
Yeah.
Do you
That's what.
think that's true?
Yeah, what do you think, Jess?
Yeah. So she'll
Does that
get back.
relate to your experience as a 5-2?
But I mean, that was my impression of it all. Have
Okay.
been able to go through a couple of them, not many. Same thing with 4-1s, and we don't see as
So,
many.
what kind of design do you think projects the most?
What kind of design, like outwardly projects or receives the projection?
No, outwardly projects.
Because isn't it the second line projects outward and the fifth line is projected upon? And then there's also like the open will is projected on, or gate 41, I know, is like projected upon that fantasy.
You were just
And then
talking
the
profile, though,
projectors.
right?
Yeah, sorry, I'm going too deep.
Right, Kip? Were you just talking profile? What profile
No,
projects the most?
no,
Oh,
Oh, just in
okay.
general.
just in general, what kind of design projects onto the world the most?
I mean, projectors project with the individual, like inward and then projecting it. I'm just going to keep
Projectors.
listing things and eventually, there you go.
We
Cool.
always we
I,
project
I'm,
we
I'm going to take
project
a
onto the
stab at
world.
that. I'm going to take a
Oh, okay.
stab at that, notwithstanding the fact that the projector penetrates. So if you just take that all by itself, it's the projector, period.
Yeah.
But in a sense, and in a big sense, that is it, because you guys are directing us with your projection, whether we know it or not. You know what I mean? And it's an amazing thing. But if I had to put a few things together, I would say put the 15-5 with the channel of charisma and some two-ness and some five-ness, or maybe even a 5-2 altogether, and you've got something that, especially if those are also in the nodes, put that 34-20 in the nodes, and now people see a person of action, that 5-2, they want that action to be for them. They're pulled in by the magnetism of that giant 15-5 coming in, pulling everything into a rhythm, and I could see that combination being very,
Uh-huh.
attractively pulling in. And yep.
We have a new question.
Yeah.
Oh,
What part of
What
the
part
human
of it?
design system do you think is most misunderstood?
great question.
Yeah. What do you think, Moni?
What do I think is the
Mhm.
most misunderstood? It's interesting because I think like the projection field, the 2 and the 5, I think that takes some time for people to understand. Of like the 2 is projecting that skill or that ability outward, whereas like the 5 is being projected on by other people that they're able to do something and kind of save the day. So I don't know if it's the most misunderstood, but that one definitely has come through a few times and trying to like grok that and understand that with like the 2s and 5s in my life.
I can see that. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I have one if you want me to go, or do you going to go?
Sure.
You got one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Two things. Most misunderstood is that human design gives you permission to just do whatever you want. You still have to follow right action. There are rules to this material plane, and love does push the direction. Love empowers the
Mhm.
direction, and 90% of the love from the vessel is empowered by is either the fiery ego or the sacral. You know what I mean? So it is generated and it's pounding. So
Hmm.
it's that you can do anything. No, you can't do anything you want. You're supposed to do what lights you up. That part's true, but this
Mhm.
is in decision making. But just to go be a debaucherous fool because you think you can just do anything you want, you're not following right action, you're in trouble, big trouble. And that's one. And two, that the not self is who we really are. I mean, that the torture of the person just coming to it, and you start showing them, then there's always a certain amount. I've never seen anyone get out alive without a little bit of torture to themselves. Who am I? What is this? I've never seen someone come fresh, brand new, and suddenly, oh, they're great. When you start pointing out the things they need to know and all that, and and so it's this perception that the not self. It's this perception that your mind can make decisions, that your mind and it's, I guess that's not human design doesn't teach that, but it's misunderstood that how profoundly human design shows mind does not make decisions. I don't know if
I
that's, yeah.
think I think the part that's most misunderstood is conditioning.
Hmm.
People are wild to get rid of what somebody else told them is they're conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to my major was psychology. I worked in research psychology and basically the New Age movement, self growth, and so on and so forth. but I was a big fan of B.F. Skinner, who is the guy that basically invented the whole concept of operant conditioning and how it works. You know, he actually trained pigeons to guide rocket ships, well, rockets.
Yep.
I mean, that's he knew what he was doing. And from the moment a woman becomes pregnant, she's being conditioned by the baby.
Yep.
The very moment. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, people keep talking about it like it's a bad thing.
It's a
When
good
that
point.
baby comes out of the womb, it continues. As soon as that baby cries, you gotta hop into action. You pick it up, pat its back, give it a bottle, blah 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 blah, all these things, and it keeps growing up. You know, and it keeps that child keeps on conditioning because we have to take care of that child, and it
Yep.
conditions our behavior. Shit, my dog conditions me.
Yep.
She wants me to give her a little bit of snacks from my breakfast. She comes up and starts poking me with her paw, and I give it to her. I'm conditioning her that she gets rewarded.
Yep.
She wants the thing. Now, if she wants it, she has to lie down and put her head down, you know, so she's not begging. It's an interaction that goes on. It's a relationship. And I'm
Yeah.
big on relationships. Relationships to me are really, really, really important. And to think that somehow you were crippled because of the design you have. You're crippled there, but you're not. You're not. It might take you a long time to find your footing,
Yep.
but
That's the
that's
part.
quite different. You
Yep.
know, you have to grow up, and you only grow up by meeting life and by trying to improve the way that you meet life. It's not something. Another thing I really don't like about 7 years. Sorry, but I made major changes in myself in 3 years. The three
Right.
years I asked that question, huge changes. Deconditioning, yeah, but I wasn't trying to decondition. The only way you get rid of a behavior, the only way is by doing something else, something different than that. It
Yep.
doesn't matter what you think,
Yep.
doesn't matter what you read, doesn't matter what you say. You have to do different.
I
And
agree.
so, anyway,
That's a
that's what
good
I
one.
think is.
That is a good one. The conditioning does get a bad rap. We need that conditioning. Condition me, baby. That's what I'll say to my next Mrs. Edwards.
Next
Right?
merchable phrase,
Yeah.
right?
Condition me,
Condition me,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
baby.
Oh,
So this will
right.
be our final question that we're going to take in our discussion portion before we go into bingo. So just reminding
This is such a
everyone.
good question. Kip, you go first on this one.
Okay.
What is
Yep.
some advice you share with people beginning their experiment?
Well, it depends. One of the things I like to tell people who are kind of new at it, who are projectors, is there aren't any projector police. Do whatever you want. You know, experiment, because your setup is a little bit different than mine. So experiment. Yeah, I know we tell you wait to be invited and wait. But even Ross said, I just was, you know who Just Usky is. You know, he's always posting quotes of Ross. And there's a great one about the projectors that I was so glad he said it because people listen more to him than me. He said, look, this thing with the invitation, this is for important stuff. A career,
Right. Right.
a marriage, you know. You can't just sit around waiting to be invited. The
Right.
invitation, there's always invitations coming all the time. You ignore them because you don't like them,
Mm.
right?
It's
So
true.
it's and maybe you get recognized, but maybe you get recognized as being a creep.
Right. Right.
You know, all right,
Or a
what do you do with
douchebag.
that?
Right. Right. A jerk. Right.
Yeah, right. So it's about being discriminating,
Mm.
Yeah.
you know, and that's what your cognition is for. How's this taste to me? How's that
Right.
smell to me? Does this smell fishy? Probably not for me then. You
Mm-hmm.
Right.
know, if that's what the smell is your cognition.
It's mine.
Yep.
That's what we have these things for, is so that we can, you know, your mind can't keep up. It's not that there's something wrong with your mind. It's just that everything that happens in the body happens 10 times faster than it happens in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Your head cannot keep up. Not when it comes to making decisions. No, it just can't do it.
Nope.
You know,
That's
So
why I get so confused. It brings me to one of my favorite things, this piece of advice, and I'll say it to generators. I have other advice for that's more general, but to generators, my big advice is we're entering you into an experiment. This is no joke. You're gonna have to witness this. Seeing it kills it. The kid is always right. I teach them about all that. And then I get them to this point where my advice is about beginning your experiment. If you're a generator, notice the skip of a record's worth of time it takes between the immediacy of your sacral versus a skip of a record later, a tenth of a second later, that mind starts saying stuff, and it's like, and I would bring them to it. I was like, some of them are so young, they don't remember record players. So this example is now getting old, but how long is a skip on a record, right? It's a skip on a record. It's like a tenth of a second, unless it's bad, but it's a skip. It's a tenth of a second, a quarter of a second at most, very fast, but you can't miss it. You can't miss it unless you aren't listening. And so it's the same thing here. The biology is moving at the speed of chemical electricity. So about as fast as a flash, as fast as a battery can turn on a flashlight, that's your sacral talking. A skip of a record later, you got to listen for it. Your mind starts telling you stuff, and then I start asking questions. My favorite advice is witness the skip of a record later of your monkey mind. It's lying to you. It does not know. And you're going to experiment so you can see it. You need to see it. Seeing it kills it. So
I like that. Okay,
Really
Mona, your turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
Mona.
turn. I didn't know I was going to be part of this question too.
Sure.
Don't be afraid to play around. Ultimately, I mean, it's an experiment, and sometimes the energy can feel really bad. It can feel like ugh, or a scratch or like a whack when you are doing the incorrect thing. When the generator is not following their sacral, and now they got sucked up into this whole weird situation. When the projector initiates, and we trip and fall on our face. Like, it's part of it, and don't be afraid to bump into things. I'm the third line, so of course this is what I'm saying. Just don't be afraid to bump into it, because it's a learning process, and especially it's like we didn't grow up with this. We didn't learn to be ourselves from birth. We learned to be the opposite of ourselves. So it's going to take a minute to learn how to navigate the world as ourselves, and you're gonna trip and you're gonna fall, and it's gonna be a big adventure of a trip, and it's a bit of a psychedelic trip. So have some fun with it.
This is grand advice, Moni. I really like it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that was great. So that was our last question.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we
Moving
got
on.
Mona.
Are you guys leaving?
No,
I think we're all part of it.
Hell no, you
Bingo,
wild
right?
horses, Kip. You kidding me?
get your bingo cards out.
We're playing human design bingo. So this is a first, guys. We are now the first. And through our crystals of consciousness, we will now send this out into the universe. So we're programming the universe to play bingo.
Well, I'm knocking lamps over. That's what I'm doing.
No, that's funny.
So, for those of you who haven't played bingo in a long time, I am going to be your game master for today. And what these bingo cards are, so I have made them. They are a combination of human design myths and human design first time experiences. So that's what these cards are made up of. So it should be a hoot for our players to play these. As I go through the different prompts, if you have that on your card, exit or mark it somehow. We're looking for a straight line, any line, horizontal, vertical, diagonal. And that's how we play bingo. Does anyone have any questions?
What happens?
I'm good.
What
I can't
happens
wait.
if I don't win?
I
If
think
you
we're all
don't,
winners.
I think the experience of hanging out is the prize. This is more so just to have fun in
All
a
right.
different
I
way.
know.
Well, me and Kip are going to fake compete with everyone because we want to win.
We kind of have to.
Okay.
Right.
Your first prompt is only the defined centers are relevant. So look if you have that on your cards.
Oh.
I feel like that one's a myth, but I don't have it either way.
I have that. Haha.
Hey, that's my line.
No, haha. I'm
That's
laughing
funny.
at you.
I guess I thought I had that.
Okay, so moving
Don't forget
on
it.
to the next one. Manifesting generators cannot pursue and make things happen.
Manifesting generator.
Oh,
I feel like that's another myth. Oh,
I
I have
missed
this
that
one
one
though.
too.
I have it. I mean, it's like with like human design, it's like you can pursue the things that interest you and you can develop those for yourselves. It's just about not trying to initiate and making things like other people do things. You're not trying to like make energy happen. So it's like as long as the man gen is like responding, like following their sacral response, like they can still pursue their own interests. They can still develop their own abilities and their skills. It's just, maybe don't initiate and try to spearhead something.
Yeah, dude, I always found that like a little bit crazy because the truth of the matter is, generators can manifest as a response. I remember in
Mhm.
response, I'm suddenly moving the mountain. You know what I mean? And recruiting everyone else to do it and whatever. So it's just that manifestors do it. So they're naturally supposed to do it. That's their thing. I do. If it's not a response out of me, I'm like a dog. If another dog's not walking by, I'm not barking. You know.
That's perfect.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, next one. You got excited when you met someone who actually knew what human design is.
I feel
Oh
like that's
God, that's me.
constantly.
I was so
Yeah.
excited.
I
I
got
was
that. Oh
alone.
no, that's not right. That's shit. I thought I had it, but I didn't.
I think we all
Oh.
get excited when somebody
I
knows
got it.
talks about it.
I got
There you
it. It's
go.
not. Yeah, but it's not in a row. It's not helping me. All
I
right.
mean, it's helping you in the long term.
I was so excited. I went a couple of years and it was just my teacher, and finally someone knew something. I was like, whoa, 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 2-4, network with me. You know,
Be my
I
best
probably
friend
scared him
now.
away. Probably scared him away.
Okay.
Okay, next one. As a projector, you have no energy.
Oh,
No, you just
okay.
have other people's energy.
I got that one. Yay. In a row too. I'm on a tear.
Oh, there you go.
As a
I don't think I have that one.
reflector.
As a projector.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Nope.
Now I got 2 in a row somewhere. Uh-oh,
Yeah, me
look out.
too. Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
good.
Oh,
This is
this is
close.
good.
We're neck and neck.
Next
Generators are
up,
only meant to build other people's dreams.
No,
Well, that's sort of how it's working now a little bit. I got that one too.
I have that one.
What is it? What is it?
Generators
Generator.
are only
Gen-
meant to build other people's dreams. Like only when they're living incorrectly. It's like when they're living correctly, it's like they're building everything and like their own dreams are part of that and it feels good because they're doing what's correct for them.
Hey, stop asking these questions that aren't on my card.
yeah, that's what I say. That one's not on my card.
Oh,
I
a
spoke too
minute
fast.
ago, you guys were ha ha that you had it and I didn't.
We can, because
all
you'll
right,
love us
friends.
anyways.
Next one. We have helped a client better their relationship. So,
Oh
husband,
yeah,
wife,
yeah, I got it.
boyfriend, whatever, through HD.
I have
I got
that,
that
but
one.
it's not in any of my rows or columns or anything. So
It's just in your heart.
yeah, just in my heart.
It is a wonder. It's a wonderful feeling. You got to admit, it is a wonderful feeling when that happens.
Oh, it's
Also,
so
Danny,
good.
we lost your video feed.
Oh,
Yes, you're just a little icon. There you go. You came back for like 2 seconds. While he figures that out,
You should
manifestors.
well,
wait.
you
Let me
can
say
still hear
something
me,
really
right?
quick.
I
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
I
I'm
want to
not
say
sure what this
something.
is. At least
Oh,
I
it
want to
means.
say something real quick here. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just
yeah,
interrupt you
go
for a second.
ahead, please.
Luana, we got to put that on a T-shirt too. You're nothing but a little icon.
That's so cute.
You guys have to like
Oh
fix
my
yourself so you're
God.
not looking at your little picture in the corner.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's clever. Oh my. Someone write that down.
Okay.
Part of our merch line when we launch our channel merch. It'll be
Start
great.
taking
Okay.
suggestions.
Oh,
Okay.
there he is. There he is. All right, friends. So next up, we got manifestors can only work for themselves, meaning they're terrible employees.
Oh, I have that again.
No, they just got to be doing the thing that's right for them. They just got to be in the right position where they're initiating and being listened to if they need to be listened to, and just kind of inform and get out of the way.
I have that one too, so that's good. Yeah, I'd say there's some truth to that. There's definitely a decent amount of truth to that.
Okay, you got excited when you met
Yeah.
someone with the same profile and energy type as you.
Well, yeah. Oh, I got that one.
What was the beginning of it?
You
Got
got
excited.
excited.
Just got
Oh,
excited though, if it's easier to find.
That's what I'm doing.
yeah. Yeah, I don't have
Yeah, I know. I'm bummed. I don't have it either.
that.
Ironic given the question.
Don't you laugh at me, Moni.
Let's go off the rails, Kip. Let's start getting pissed.
Okay, we have, as a reflector, you are not allowed to work much.
Oh, I've
As a
got that. Where
reflector.
is it? Oh,
Well, with like
yeah.
reflectors, it's so funny because
Ooh.
it's just like their energy is gonna be so dependent on the moon. So it's like not consistently, but like maybe they have these certain days where like they're really lit up and they can get a lot of stuff done, but then the other days they're not lit up and so don't do a lot of stuff. So I think it just like follow
Yeah,
that
but
strategy and follow the moon.
this says you're not allowed to.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
we have reflector police too.
Yeah, I know.
No.
That's some BS right there.
There you go.
Yep.
Total.
Do what lights you up, people. Do what lights you up. Otherwise, you're a liar.
All right, friends. So we got manifesting generators have endless amounts of energy and are always active.
That's some BS right there.
Only when it's right for them.
That's it.
Like when it's right for them, like man, they're little energizer bunnies building the
That part's
world.
true. That part's true. And
But
obnoxious, by the way. We're
oh yeah.
obnoxious.
Oh, I
Yep.
mean we love you, but yeah.
We are obnoxious because we're dumb as rocks. Did I say that out loud?
I mean you can say it about yourself, but I don't think it's true. I
I
think you're
wasn't
very
listening
Yes,
to you there.
Manny gens are some of my favorite people, and they're
Oh,
not dumb.
they're like everybody else. There's wonderful ones for you and ones that you don't like at all. That's just
All
the way.
right.
Absolutely.
Have you quoted Ra during a client session?
Quote Ra all
Never.
the time.
Never.
I think I quote Ra all the time in my head most of all.
Of course.
I love listening to
doesn't?
Ra.
Have you quote it? Just quote it. So it begins with
Quote it.
quoted. Quoted.
Yeah, I haven't had any of these recent ones.
No, I don't have that.
I don't have that either.
I don't think I quoted him. I might have though.
Okay, next
I
one.
can't remember what I
Projectors.
say.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Projectors need an invitation for everything.
No, but it sure helps.
Oh, I got that one
Look,
too.
so do
One
you
more,
need
and I got bingo, guys.
No, stop that.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh man. Oh no, come on, give me a good one.
Okay.
Oh, I have that.
Oh,
But
there you
it's
go.
not
Oh, it
but
might
it's
be
not
slightly
useful.
different. Yeah. We have
All people should eat in a calm
and
environment,
calm and quiet
environment.
environment.
Only
No,
if that's their digestion.
that's just me. I'm a fourth color.
Mm.
All people.
Wow.
Nope, just
Oh,
those.
I got that one. Oh, you
My
guys,
mom's got
man.
that one.
I got that one too.
Ooh.
I don't have it on my bingo. I'm a little solar creature. I eat in the sun.
Okay, generators are meant to be doing all the time and always have energy.
Only when
I
it's
got
right
that
for
one.
them.
Oh, I got
Nope,
three
I
in a
don't got that one
row.
either. Moana, I think you're
I
stacking
got-
the decks.
I only need one more.
I only need one more. I got 2 spots where if it shows up, I got bingo.
Ew, let's see. Told a non-sacral to sleep alone.
Told everyone to sleep alone.
That's so funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Such.
I don't
crap.
got it, but I
I
got
don't either.
opinion.
I don't got it either so far. Hold it. This is fun, Moana.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm a genius. I'm well aware.
Yeah.
So we
Moana,
have,
you are a genius. The open head is always the open Ajahn is always a genius, Moana. So there you go.
right. So we have, I'm a manifester. So every urge to create is the one to go with.
Only if you're splenic. Otherwise, you got to wait out that wave. And then the whale, if it's the ego manifester, then they got to wait till they hear the will in their throat. So it's like you still got to wait out your wave if you're emotional and then inform people and then go with that urge to go.
Indeed.
Well, actually, this one is about like everything that comes into your head doing it.
Well,
That's
no,
what this one meant.
no, I get it. But as a
Yeah.
manifester, it's like, yeah, if you're splenic and if that urge is there, like that's a thing. Or if they're an ego
Mhm.
manifester and they can say, I will do this, I want to do this, then yeah, go for
Yeah,
it. But like
you
you're
have
an
to.
emotional manifester, so you got to wait out that emotional wave
Like,
and
do I
then
Moni,
form.
Moni,
I
you're
mean,
you're
you find that
keynoting
out
so
on your own.
wonderfully. Yeah.
Right?
Ah.
Reflectors don't know who they are.
Nobody knows who they are, at least at first. Or after a good acid trip.
I
You know who
don't have that.
I haven't had anything in like 7 of them.
reflectors. It begins with reflector. Yeah, I don't have either. Come on now.
Hey,
Oh well.
Moana, how'd you like to make
Yes.
an extra $15?
Yeah, Martha. 20. 20.
I'm just the one who made the cards. Whatever you got is what you got. All right, your next one is changed your
Oh,
daily routine
I got this one.
after what? I can't even read my own sentence.
Change your daily routine after started
to implement your design.
After starting to implement your design.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
what's
it
the
in,
first
in
word?
change.
What's the first word?
Change.
Oh, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I had that one surprisingly.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm working too hard over here.
I mean, you're the one with the divine sacral. You're the one funding all of this. You're funding
Apparently.
this whole stream, Danny.
Yeah. Well, I'm still on pins and needles for some reason, so this is good. It's not my pressure. Don't worry about it.
All
LOL.
right.
Get a
We
little
got
more excited for me.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm a projector, so I need to sit back and wait for people to invite me to things.
I have that, and yo, I don't have bingo.
I have that, and I don't have bingo neither.
I don't, but I'm a projector, and it sure helps.
Manifestors must initiate all the time.
Oh, I got that one. That was my center spot. Only when it's correct for them to initiate. And they've informed first, so they let all of us know to get out of the way.
Oh, woo!
I got that one too. Cool.
I'm closing in on multiple fronts.
Oh wait, did we have reflectors? Don't know who they are.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
bingo! Then I got
What?
bingo.
That's some
Well-
BS right there.
No, I didn't see it before, but then I did,
There's
and
no
then
delayed
I just got this one.
response, dude. You passed it, you missed it, you're disqualified. Sorry.
I got it right there, right down the center.
Yes.
Oh gosh, well, old men defer to the beauty of youth.
I know she deserves it. I still want ask one
Yes.
more, Moana, so we can get a runner up. One more.
Yeah, get a
one
runner
more.
up.
Oh,
Just
okay,
in case.
okay.
Ah,
Okay,
good,
we got.
very
so much
competitive.
Well, we have witnessed a client's mindset shift real
Oh, this is
time.
a beautiful one.
Oh, I got that one.
What's the first word?
Witness.
Oh,
I know, I'm with you, Kip. I don't got it neither. Whatever. Okay, I quit.
Okay,
I was-
fine. This is
That's funny.
Yay, I'm a runner-up. Yay!
Great.
Sorry, you said you quit.
Oh,
I
did
get
Kip get
runner-up.
it? I was gonna
Yeah,
say
you
I was gonna
got it?
throw an
No,
extra
but-
one.
Danny quit, so Danny forfeited. So
Oh,
Kip's
Yeah,
the
I
runner up.
forfeit. No, I'm a generator. I'm the great quitter. I quit.
Oh,
Are you
there-
quitting in response?
No, that's me being a brat.
He's
I was
quitting in
gonna say I'm
response
gonna
to not winning.
throw in a bonus one if someone wants to try for realsies for runner up. I'm a generator, so I'm just
Okay.
a worker bee. I'm here to
Okay.
work.
You're
I
here
don't
to
have
put your
that.
energy into what you love and what's correct for you to make magic happen, and it's gonna feel good if you're doing the right thing.
Indeed.
There you go. What part of the design makes you the brat?
Oh, I can answer
Good
that.
one, Jess. Good one.
That's a good one. It's two of them, and they're both second lines. It's my 46-2 and my 16-2.
46-2,
Yeah,
and
the
your
prima
60.
do-
Oh
the
yeah,
prima
there's your
donna.
62 is the Cynic, And the
and the cynic.
46 too. I'm gonna look that one
That
up.
wants to burst bubbles. It's like, oh yeah, well, actually, I got divorced over saying, well, actually, one too many times. I couldn't help it. It's not my fault. Unconscious.
And then 46 too. And then the 46
46
too.
too?
That's the prima
46 for the
donna.
prima donna.
A difficult and demanding nature that succeeds despite its behavior because of the depth of its talents. And the
I
other
don't
side is
believe that, but it seems to work out. And
unrealistic demands and offensive nature of egocentric mediocrity.
that was me as a younger man, plenty of times. Yep.
Well, friends,
Right.
that was our show. Kip,
Yeah.
thank you again for being a part of
Oh,
our first time playing bingo.
Yeah.
oh, this was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking with all of you. It was really very
Yeah.
interesting, very easy, and very comfortable. And I haven't been on a lot of podcasts. I don't have time for them. If it
Yeah,
weren't for your
we're
connection
so
with
honored.
Tessa, I wouldn't have done this. But yeah, this was really enjoyable. I had a great time. Thank you all. Thank you all.
I'm
Thank
so
you so
glad.
much.
It's a little different from a podcast because we're interacting live with the
Yes,
audience. That's the entire
yes,
point.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Thanks
I
for
like
coming
this.
on,
This
Kip.
is good.
Love you so
Oh,
much,
my
man.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
I'm
Yep.
very glad I
Yeah.
said
So
yes.
we have one last question before we
Oh, real
pop
quick, it
off.
says, real quick, if anyone remembers the shift in mindset in a client, what caused it? Does anyone of you guys remember a moment where, I guess, whatever caused the shift? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, I've had a few times where women have started crying
Yeah.
because the first time that happened was one of the first people I did a reading for, a lovely young woman, and she had an undefined G, and I was explaining to her, you're not here to know who you are. You don't have to be involved in that trip. Just let go of it. You're here to know other people much more deeply than I can, for example.
Right.
And she was, it just took so much pressure off. So that for me is,
It's the relieving of the pressure. Absolutely. Always when I hit,
yeah,
I'm always looking for the thing because I'm reading live. So I'm looking for their button. There's a
yeah,
button in there. And usually we find it, and then it profoundly gets to them. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. It's a hard question to answer, whoever Jess. It's just that but it's so many things, and it's almost always surrounding the difficult thing that really is
yes,
profound.
always.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and allowing that like recognition and just like seeing a
Yep.
person for something that's real and then that they thought was maybe wrong or bad or that they should be another way. It's those things, those expectations, those comparisons that we pick up from everywhere else. And you're like, oh my God, for that woman, I don't have to know who I am when there's been all this like fear and anxiety and concern about it. And it's just like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. It's such a weight off the shoulders. It's so beautiful.
Hey,
Yeah.
would all three of you do me a favor and just send me either your birth info or your chart? I'd like to see.
I've done it
Absolutely.
already. Yeah.
Danny,
I know you have.
hit the trigger on that. I would be happy to. And then yeah,
Great,
Moni,
I'll
great.
get it.
I think
Absolutely.
you'll get it. And then one last thing for everybody. So starting next week again, we're going to go back to our regular streaming schedule at 8:30 p.m. EST. And we are starting our centers series. So have your body graphs ready and listen along and have your mind blown. It's going to be
Absolutely. Kip,
absolutely
you're always
amazing.
welcome as a co-host when we're going through teaching
Absolutely.
moments to add your 2 cents
Good.
and your 10 cents and inflationary 25 cents, and it'll be perfect. Yep.
I was
So
thinking
Yes.
anyway,
$50. I think it's worth $50 from me, don't you?
Oh,
at least.
right.
You know
Special
what?
co-host.
Hey, you know what? Well, how much does it cost? Well, what's it really worth to read? Well, if you had a lot of money, it's worth a couple $100,000. I don't care. I mean, that's true.
Right. And for
Yeah,
those who really enjoyed bingo, so we are going to be doing, once our center series is finished, something called profile line
okay.
bingo, where we're going to gather every energy type under that profile and get them together and play profile line bingo. So
Oh, wow.
that's going to be a super crazy hoot. So keep watching for that. And then we're going to play some other party games. So it's just going to be a
Okay.
giant party stream. And we're going to observe how each profile is expressed differently. So it's going to be a good
Yep.
time. But yes, friends, honor, Kip, to have you. Thank you so much. This was
Oh,
an
my pleasure.
absolute
Really.
pleasure. Yes.
How do you do
And
that?
everyone
There
else,
you go.
Big
We
hearts,
bid
guys.
All
Yeah.
the
you,
best of love.
we bid you adieu,
I
adieu,
bid everyone adieu.
Au
adieu.
Peace out,
revoir.
everyone. Kirk out.